comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I am DK Rustler.
And I'm MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, we got a decent amount of pops to talk about. It's the remaining Funko Pops of May 2022, or as I like to call it, International DK Wrestler Month, which this will be the last time I get to say that phrase for the next year or so, which these pops range from May 19th all the way up until yesterday as we were recording this, which was May 31st. It is June 1st as we are recording this podcast today. And we're going to do that. We're going to also do our segment, The Update, to update last week's top 10 list of May 2022 Funko Pops. But before we actually talk about that, we will actually kick off by talking about some NHL hockey, because hockey is obviously a huge thing here in Canada, which if you're not interested in hockey, we always have a timestamp in the description below that essentially skips to the parts that you want to listen to. But without further ado, we might as well kick off with that NHL hockey talk. It is the conference finals in the Stanley Cup playoffs. On the Western Conference side, we have the Colorado Avalanche against the Edmonton Oilers. And on the Eastern side, we got ourselves the Tampa Bay Lightning, the current Stanley Cup champions 2 years in a row, against the New York Rangers, which obviously we're going to talk about who we think are going to advance in both of the conferences and who is going to win. I'll start off first because I'm just going to mention who I think is going to win for each of the conferences. So Edmonton and Colorado for the Western Conference. I think that Colorado is going to win. And then the Eastern Conference, we got Tampa Bay and New York Rangers. And I think Tampa Bay will make it to the finals. And as terms to the actual finals, I will still go with my pick from what I originally picked, actually, was the Colorado Avalanche that I predicted was going to win the Stanley Cup. And they are still in the playoffs right now. So I think they will win the Stanley Cup against Tampa Bay.
These playoffs are very interesting. It's pretty interesting to see some of the different teams. So I will start off with the New York Rangers, which is surprising that they've gone this far. On paper, the New York Rangers are actually a very good team. They have a lot of really great players and some players that have been on the team for quite some time. In that sense, it doesn't surprise me, but the Rangers are not really a deep playoff team if you look at how they've done in the playoffs in the last, 10 or so years. So it was very surprising that they've made it now to the conference finals, but unfortunately, I don't think they will make it past Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a force to be reckoned with, especially considering they won the last two Stanley Cups. So I do think that the Tampa Bay Lightning will go into the finals. On the Western side of things, we have the Colorado Avalanche and the Edmonton Oilers, which is a super surprise to me to see them moving on so far in the playoffs, which is great. I really do enjoy it, but I honestly did not think they'd be making it past the first round because they're just not a playoff team. They're a great team. Obviously, you have Leon Draisaitl and McDavid, two of the most points in the season. They've had an amazing regular season, but moving on to the playoffs, they just don't seem like the team to do it, but they've been playing good. And even if you look at last night, as we're recording this, the game between Colorado and Edmonton, a very high scoring game. The final, I believe, was 8-6. That's pretty insane. I do think that Colorado will move on, but I would not be disappointed if Edmonton did move on to the finals. So in the sense of saying if it's Colorado versus Tampa Bay, that's a tough one because both teams are very good. Both teams are teams that have been picked to be, okay, these are the guys that have a great chance of winning the Stanley Cup. I think I'm going to give it to Tampa Bay, unfortunately. I don't want to see a three-peat from Tampa Bay, but it just seems like they cannot be broken. They're just this team that just keeps on doing it, which is not great. But if Edmonton does move on to the finals, I will definitely be rooting for them to win the Stanley Cup.
All right, so we will move on to the first section of Funko Pop announcements, which range essentially May 19th to May 20th, which May 19th was the day that was the third and final day of Funkoween reveals. So there was a bit of an announcement after Funkoween there. So kicking off May 19th, which please, Kane of WWE, please don't hurt me for saying May 19th. We got ourselves announced by Bait, is their own exclusive of a textured tan Astro Boy, which is available now on their website, and I assume in stores also at their specific stores until supplies last. Then going on to May 20th, Funko had announced a second wave of pops for the movie Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which we have ourselves common pops of Sinister Strange, America Chavez, Captain Carter, Dead Strange, and we got ourselves a pop movie moments of Dead Strange versus Scarlet Witch, along with exclusive pops of a Scarlet Witch, which will be going to Walmart, and a glow-in-the-dark Dead Strange, which will be going to Hot Topic, and these are expected to release as early as August 2022. On that same day, Funko had announced the next set of NFT Funko Pops, which are of Kellogg's Ad Icon Pops, which we got ourselves Coco the Monkey, which is limited to 1,640 pieces. Cornelius, limited to 1,640 pieces. The Freddy Funko Dig'em Pop, which is going to be limited to 3,000 pieces as a part of the Royalty Collection. Sugar Pops Pete, which will be limited to 1,640 pieces. And Tony the Tiger Jr., which will be limited to 999 pieces. And the cards actually released yesterday on May 31st at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, like all the NFT cards, they are sold out at this point. And last but not least, on the 20th, Funko HQ had announced their own exclusive pop of a gargoyle boar from Harry Potter, in which that is available at Funko HQ until supplies last. So kicking off with the Astro Boy pop, which it's not often that we actually get an announcement of Astro Boy pops, mainly because I think Astro Boy is actually a part of the Asia lineup and not even a part of, let's say, anime or television, which is really cool. I like this whole design of how you have like half of, I guess, the normal form of Astro Boy, I guess you can say, and then you get like the inside of Astro Boy where it's kind of all robotic-y, and you also have a different color eye. So I really like that aspect of when Funko does this, because they have done this with a couple of pops a few times. Like I remember there being like a Batman with like a half robotic face. So it kind of reminds me of that. And then I can't remember any other pops, but I know they've done it on multiple occasions. So this is a really cool pop. Then we have the new wave of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And this is a pretty sweet set. Unfortunately, I have not been able to actually go see the movie yet. And after reading some of the comments, I did spoil myself a little bit, but I'm honestly not going to complain and say, oh, so much spoilers, because it's my fault that I never got to actually see the movie yet. It has been out for nearly a month at this point. So we are past that point realistically of like people can start spoiling it. So it is my fault that I haven't seen, but these pops look great, especially the Dead Strange looks wicked. I know in the trailer, I believe there was a tease of kind of a zombie Doctor Strange. And so I'm really excited to actually see the movie eventually. I probably will see it when it ends up going on Disney Plus, whenever that will be, probably months after it leaves the theaters. And then I'll probably watch it then. I don't think I'm going to watch in theaters because at this point I'm waiting for Lightyear to hit up theaters, and that's what I'm going to see in theaters. And I'm excited for that. These pops look cool. We got Captain Carter, which I guess is a little bit of a spoiler for me because I guess she's in the movie. And there is a little bit of, I guess, a spoiler in the comments on Instagram that involves this character, which I'm excited to see actually when I see this movie. And we got that Moments, which is absolutely insane. You got Scarlet Witch, you got Dead Strange, and the base is awesome in how you kind of have that like magic energy going on instead of, let's say, just a rectangular piece and then they're just standing there face to face. I really like how Moments have kind of evolved to even where the base is kind of a bang for your buck as terms of these movie moments. And the exclusives are also pretty decent. Then we have the Kellogg's Ad Icon NFT pops, and these are pretty decent. A lot of these are actually like retro Ad Icon pops from the research that I've done. And I know that I think the most popular one out of this set is the Cornelius from Cornflakes, because people have been wanting that as an ad icon for a long time at this point. I remember a lot of ad icon posts having people be like, we want a Cornelius, we want a Cornelius. And now it's in this NFT lineup. And I mean, people probably forked out a lot of money just for that Cornelius. The Dig'em Frog Freddy Funko is okay. I don't think it's as good as we've gotten with the last couple of Freddy Funko NFT pops, but it's still okay. And then we have ourselves Sugar Pops Pete, which is the predecessor of Big Yella for the Sugar Pop cereal, later turned into Sugar Corn Pops, which then, of course, we know today as just simply corn pops. And this is pretty decent. I think the really hardcore ad icon collectors were really wanting to get this pop. And then we have Tony the Tiger Jr., which I'm not surprised that this is the, I guess, grail pop, the 999 piece pop, because Frosted Flakes is a really popular cereal, or at least in this case, from the research that I've done and was a part of the Ad Icons NFT video that we did on the channel that I mentioned, that the cereal that Tony the Tiger Jr. was a part of was called Frosted Rice, which is a sugar-coated Rice Krispie cereal that was made in the past. So it's really cool that people are a fan already of Tony the Tiger. So to make kind of a spin-off version is okay for the grail piece, because maybe people might want to get this, but then there are people that might not want to get this, especially if you're a really big fan of Tony the Tiger. You might actually would have wanted to get this. So that's really cool in that sense. So, and I like this set overall for the same reason I mentioned a few weeks ago about the DC Comics NFT pops, is that you're not forced to get all of them. If you're a huge Frosted Flakes fan, or Frosted Rice in this case, then you might actually just want that 999 piece pop and you don't care about the other ones. But then you might only want the Cornelius because your favorite cereal is cornflakes. And therefore, let's say you got Coco the monkey, then you can easily do a trade on the Atomic Hub secondary market in order to do that. So you're not forced to get all of these. But I am worried that in the near future, they're going to do a General Mills Ad Icons NFTs and will feature a pop I've been wanting for Funko to make for a while, that being the mascot of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because that is a General Mills cereal. So hopefully that's not a thing, but that's probably, if that happened very soon, that'll be the first time I crack into those NFT pops. And then we got ourselves the Gargoyle Boar from Harry Potter, Funko HQ exclusive. I know there was a bit of mixed hype for this because people didn't know where this was from exactly. And from further research, some people had actually mentioned this was featured in a glimpse part of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which I guess is okay. But then I guess also it is a part of the entrance of the Harry Potter, I don't know exactly what to call it, like the amusement park they have at Universal Studios that's all dedicated to Harry Potter, and that's the entrance. So I guess it's cool in that sense, and that it would only be exclusive to Funko HQ, because I don't think this pop would do well as a common per se.
Okay, so starting off with the bait exclusive Astro Boy. This is really cool. I really like this. We definitely do not see a whole lot of Astro Boy pops, and now we're seeing one that's really cool. And I do always like the anatomical, like human skeleton type figures that some companies make. And this is quite similar to those where you have half of the figure being what the character looks like, then half the insides. I know that SpongeBob is a licensor that's kind of notorious for having these types of figures, and I really enjoy them. So I'm glad that Funko Pops are kind of doing that as well, which is great. And this looks cool because obviously Astro Boy being like a cyborg, you get to see a lot of the mechanics of the inside. And there's a lot of different colors going on with it. So this is really cool. I think if I do end up buying an Astro Boy pop, which I think is inevitable eventually, I will end up getting one. This might be the one that I get. And then moving on to the pops for the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I've still yet to see this movie, but I've heard some really good things about it. And these pops definitely look pretty good. Starting off with the commons, it's your basic common wave. It's what I would expect from it, but the pops do look good, especially with the undead version of Doctor Strange. I think that has a lot of detail and looks really, really good. And then we have the movie moments, which is also pretty awesome. And DK did explain about how you have that really cool base, which I do think is quite needed for a pop like this. And I do really enjoy how I don't know exactly what to call them, considering I haven't seen the movie, but the two kind of heads that are popping out of the black smoke-like substance are actually popified, which is a great detail. And I think that this is going to be a movie moments that sells very, very well. I think that overall it looks great. And I mean, Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange together in a 2-pack, especially being a movie moments, is quite awesome. And then you have the exclusives, starting with the Walmart exclusive with Scarlet Witch. This is okay. I feel like we've seen a lot of Scarlet Witch pops in the last years with WandaVision, and now, of course, with the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So I think we've seen pop pretty similar to this. So I don't think it's the best, but I do think it's decent, especially if you want to get a full wave of these pops, which doesn't seem too hard to do considering there's not a ton of them. And then we have the Hot Topic exclusive glow in the dark Doctor Strange, which is pretty decent. It's blue, so who knows with the blue how well it will glow. But I do like the points of glow on this pop. I like how you have kind of the hands glowing, and then as well as the face with the eyes. There's potential for this to be a really cool pop. And then we have the newest NFT set, which is for Kellogg's. And let me tell you, I am quite conflicted about these because I'm not a huge fan of the NFT pops, but now we kind of move into my territory more or less with ad icons, and it's kind of those retro vintage ad icons, which is really, really cool. I really like these. I think it kind of makes sense for these to be NFTs. I don't mind that, but I need to get these pops, and I did miss out on the NFT drop. So that means it looks like I'm going to have to find them on the secondary market, which I'm actually not too disappointed in, considering now at the point of my ad icon collecting, I'm kind of at that point where I have most of the stuff that I want that is high dollar value. So this gives me some more stuff to look for when I go to toy shows or cons that you guys obviously know me and DK do attend quite often. So that's cool. It definitely does give me some stuff to look for. So starting off with Coco the Monkey, this is pretty cool. It's got to be probably my least favorite from the set, if I'm being honest. And it's not a bad pop. I just don't really have any connection to it. So it's definitely not my favorite. And then we have Cornelius, which is the total opposite spectrum of that, where this is probably my favorite drop from this lineup. It's done quite well, actually. I definitely read some comments of people saying that they did a decent job on making this a 3D figure, considering that Cornelius with cornflakes is always a 2D, more or less a logo on the box rather than actually more a character. So I think it's done really well. I like cornflakes, and I think that Cornelius is a very iconic character that a lot of people probably don't think of when they think of ad icons, because there's no real voice behind Cornelius or anything like that. But this is great. I love this figure. This is going to be my top one from this NFT drop. And then we have the Freddy Funko Dig'em Frog, and I'm a little disappointed in this. Normally, with these NFT drops, there's a Freddy Funko, and most of the time they're pretty good. And I don't want to say this one's bad, but I think this could have been better. It's weird seeing Freddy Funko as this frog character. I get what they've done. They've done the green skin, which kind of gives the appeal to that. But I also think that there could have been maybe a better choice for Freddy Funko to be, especially in the first of what could potentially be many ad icon NFT drops. So this is okay, but I do think that this is going to be the least desirable pop out of this wave. We have Sugar Pop's Pete, which I think is a really awesome character. I like the way that this pop was done. It's definitely not one of my favorites, but I do think that it was done well. And this is one of those pops where if I do end up finding it at a toy show or a con, I probably will have to get my hands on it. And then lastly, for the Kellogg's NFTs, we have Tony the Tiger Jr., which is so awesome. I really enjoy this. I kind of forgot that this was a thing with the frosted rice cereal. So this is cool. I never would have thought of this. So it was kind of one of those surprising moments when you see a character like this, considering how many times on the channel we've talked about ad icons and what we'd like to see in the future. It kind of blows my mind that I never thought of this. So this is definitely cool. And it's definitely my second most wanted pop out of this set. I think that if one day I was able to come away with a Cornelius and the Tony the Tiger Jr., I'd probably be content, but I definitely will be searching for the Coco the Monkey and the Sugar Pops Pete. And then lastly, we have the Funko HQ exclusive Gargoyle Boar from Harry Potter. And this is okay. This isn't one of the best Harry Potter pops by any means, but I don't think it's bad. And I like the way that it's executed, where you have the kind of statue look to it, as well as the base that it comes on. I think really complements the figure quite well.
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca. funko.ca using our code of Funko Popcast to get 10% off.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code Funko Popcast for 10% off.
So we're going to move over to the next set of Funko Pops, which range from May 23rd to May 31st. So kicking off May 23rd, Amazon had announced an exclusive pop of Ryu and Bright Bomber for a new Street Fighter Fortnite crossover, in which this is available for pre-order now and is expected to release as early as October 2022. On that same day, Funko had announced some new pops for My Hero Academia, and it's for a new set of Class 1B characters from My Hero Academia, which we already have the pop there that was already announced and we discussed about a few weeks back. But we have two new pops announced for this, which we have ourselves Itsuka Kendo and Tetsu Tetsu. These are Hot Topic exclusives, and these are expected to release as early as July 2022. On that same day, Pop Culture had announced exclusive pops of a Maddie Franklin Spider-Woman for the Beyond Amazing collection. And we got ourselves a metallic 4-pack of Android 16, Android 17, Android 18, and Dr. Gero from Dragon Ball Z, in which these are available now on Pop Culture's website with restricted shipping for both Canada and the US. Then on May 25th, we got ourselves pops for the Disney Plus series Obi Wan Kenobi, which we have pops of Obi Wan Kenobi, Reva, Darth Vader, and Ben Kenobi on EOB Pop Deluxe, in which these are expected to release as early as September 2022. On May 27th, Funko had announced on their website of a pop of Samurai Brook from One Piece, which has a 1-in-6 metallic chase, in which this is a Funko Shop exclusive, and it actually released today as we are recording this podcast, which is June 1st, 2022, and has since sold out on the Funko Shop website. And last but not least, we have ourselves a Diamond Collection Remy from Ratatouille, which will be a part of a Pop and Bag bundle and will be released on June 6th on both the Funko Shop and Loungefly websites. So kicking off with the Bright Bomber and Ryu 2-pack, which I think this is meh. And I think this is meh because even though I do kind of like the idea of Street Fighter and Fortnite being a collab because there are Street Fighter skins on Fortnite, but at the same time, you can definitely tell that this is going to be a collaboration of taking common pops that might have not sold very well and slapping them into a 2-pack and then just slapping on an exclusive sticker, which I do like the box art and how it says Player 1 and Player 2. And then the fact, which this is actually going to be the first time we discuss about this on the podcast, is the brand new special edition sticker that will be put onto Funko Pops, where it is blue and silver with the Funko logo and it's got a globe that says special edition, and not those ugly silver ribbon stickers that say special edition. I can't wait to actually see these stickers on Pops because I wouldn't be such, I guess the term would be sticker if it wasn't for that ugly special edition sticker. So I wouldn't be so much of that anymore if we started seeing pops with these new stickers. But I'm not really a fan of the Bright Bomber skin to begin with, and I don't really know much about Street Fighter, so I'm not going to get this. Then we have the new set of My Hero Academia pops for a new set, Class 1B exclusives. Like I mentioned, the one pop we already discussed about, I think his name was like Naito or something, I don't remember. But we have ourselves the two pops here, and these are pretty decent. I like the posings that are in, and I actually couldn't believe that the one character's name was actually Tetsu. I don't remember these characters at all, so either these were from season 4 and I just don't remember because it's been so long, or we're going to season 5 territory and I have not seen season 5 yet, so I have no idea who these characters are. But realistically, these are some cool pops, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the set is, because you can see in the silhouettes below that there are going to be 6 more pops involved in this set. Then we got ourselves Spider-Woman, the Maddie Franklin version, and this is not too bad. I like this overall design, and even though it does have that special edition sticker, I can assume that this will be an Amazon exclusive because all of the other Beyond Amazing pops have been Amazon exclusives, so I'm just going to assume this will be an Amazon exclusive. I love the detail with kind of like the arms in the background and then how big the eyes are for the mask. I think that's pretty cool. The overall design is pretty sweet. Then we got ourselves some 4-packs that just did not need to be made. You got 4 pops that have a metallic specification and they're just slapped with a special edition sticker. And it's like, why? We're back to this, unlike last week when we discussed about those ET 3-pack pops exclusive to Walmart, where it made sense for those, but then now we're back to 4-packs or 5-packs or 7-packs or whatever multi-packs that just don't make sense. And just like, I don't know. Maybe these are all involved in the scene. I don't know. But just seeing these multi-packs, I'm sick of them. Then we got ourselves the new pops for Obi Wan Kenobi, which these are some pretty decent pops. They're not like totally amazing, but I do like seeing a new set of Obi Wan Kenobi pops, especially we got a new set announced today, which we will be kicking off the podcast next week talking about those. But these are pretty cool. The Obi Wan Kenobi is pretty decent. Wish the lightsaber was ignited, but we obviously have room for more pops as the new episodes get released. The Reva pop is okay, and especially the Darth Vader. I like Darth Vader, obviously, but it's not the greatest looking Darth Vader. We've seen better, but one obviously had to be made because it is a big focal point of this series. And then the Ben Kenobi on the Eopie or whatever it's called, that's probably the best pop because you have this cool pop rides involved in this series. And then Obi-Wan isn't doing much, so at least it's doing something with this pop rides. It doesn't have his lightsaber, so it makes sense that they made this, and I think it's pretty decent. Then we have the Samurai Brook pops, the common and the chase for the Funko Shop exclusive. And these are really cool. We don't get many One Piece pops that often. So it's cool to see this kind of refresher of an anime instead of getting constant Dragon Ball Z, My Hero Academia, like we just talked about. We got One Piece, and this character looks pretty cool. And I do like the chase better than the common because of the metallic effect, bringing out the armor that this character is wearing more than you see with the common. I think it looks pretty decent. And obviously, I'm not surprised that this sold out today on the Funko Shop because it is a One Piece pop. We barely get One Piece pops. And the fact that there's a chase involved. So obviously, people are going to be hunting for that chase. And last but not least, we have ourselves Remy from Ratatouille in a diamond collection form with a pop and bag, which I definitely forgot to send the photo of what the bag looks like, which pretty much is the front of the restaurant. And the fact that the one door opens for this backpack and you can actually fit the pop inside of it. And they showed that in the photo. And I think this is pretty it's okay. I can't say it's decent. I mean, does it make sense for Remy to be diamond collection? Not really. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure they already made a flocked version. So you can't make a flocked version as a pop and bag. But people are actually pretty hyped. I looked at the comments earlier today and there is a lot of hype as terms to this. And I think mainly it's because of the backpack.
So we have the Street Fighter and Fortnite collab with the Ryu and Bright Bomber. And honestly, this isn't the greatest. I would call these two pops kind of those uber common pops that you can find very easily, at least at toy shows or cons, like I've talked about previously. And they're definitely not worth too much. So you slap them in a 2-pack together. And I understand the concept of doing this, considering Fortnite does do so many different collaborations with a lot of franchises. And I do think that down the road, they could definitely make this work. But this is definitely not the greatest one. And I don't think this will sell very well. And then we have a couple of new My Hero Academia pops, and these are okay. Then we have the Maddie Franklin Spider-Woman, and this is pretty cool. I like this pop. It's definitely not one of those Spider-Man pops that I definitely need to get, but it's a cool pop. I do like the posing on it, and I do think that people will like this. It's just not necessarily one that I want. Then we have the Dragon Ball Z 4-pack with Android 16, 17, 18, and Dr. Gero. And this is okay. I don't think that this needs to be metallic, which it looks to be. I understand why they kind of want to make it metallic, but I feel like this could have just been a regular 4-pack, and I might have liked it a little bit more. But these are also pops that are kind of also just common pops that are pretty cheap, that don't hold much value. So not the greatest. And then we have the first set of pops for the new Obi Wan Kenobi series, and this is pretty decent. I don't mind this. The 3 singular pops that we have here are okay. I like how Ben Kenobi, I guess we can call him, has his lightsaber not ignited, which I think makes sense. And then we have the Darth Vader I don't know. I think we could have maybe waited to see this in an Obi-Wan lineup because we haven't really seen a ton of Darth Vader in the first two episodes, at least. And he also has his lightsaber ignited, which kind of makes sense for Vader, but this is not the greatest Vader pop. Like DK said, we've definitely seen some better ones. And then we have the Ben Kenobi on the Opie, and this is pretty dang awesome. I really enjoy this pop. I was really excited to see the scene where he was riding the Opie, which is awesome. And I remember back in the day, Hasbro with their Star Wars figures had a giveaway, basically not a giveaway, but a mail away figure where you could get Qui-Gon Jinn on a Yopi, which I got, which is cool. So I wish that Funko would have done something similar to that with this. I think that it would have been really cool doing it that way, but I'm really glad we're seeing this. I think it's a great pop, and I'm really excited to see what we get for the rest of the series for Obi Wan Kenobi, not just regarding with the show, but with the pops that we see as well. And then we have the Funko Shop exclusive Samurai Brook for One Piece. And this is pretty awesome. Yeah, we definitely don't see a ton of One Piece pops, at least in recent years. So this is dang cool. And there's a chase version, which is metallic, which is okay. I don't think that people definitely want to see a chase version of a figure being just metallic, but I do think that the metallic figure is the superior pop to the more common one. I think that they're both really good pops. There's just something about the metallic on this figure that looks great. I think that the details show a little bit better regarding the, I guess, chin strap rope is what I could see from this pop. You can definitely see the details in that more, at least with these glam shots. And I just think that the metallic on this looks pretty cool. So that's a decent figure. And then lastly, we have the Diamond Collection Remy from Ratatouille. And yeah, this is not amazing. I mean, it doesn't make sense to be Diamond Collection. So why did they do it? I think that if we were to see a new set of Ratatouille pops, I think that the best thing that they could possibly do would be like a Moments pop or even just a deluxe pop with maybe regarding to like a pot of soup or some kind of meal that he's making. I think that that would be really good. But re-releasing older pops in especially Diamond Collection is just nothing that we're looking to see right now.
All right, so now we're going to move on to our segment, The Update, which for those brand new to the podcast, The Update is a segment where essentially because we are now over and done with May 2022, or as I like to mention, International DK Wrestler Month 2022, that we get to update the top 10 list to fit pops that we just talked about and didn't talk about last week for our top 10 list. How we're going to do this is that we start off at essentially number 10 and make our way up until the last updated pop. I'll kick off first to kind of explain this a little bit better. So coming in at number 10 and essentially was originally number 7 last week was the Hot Topic exclusive Sonic the Werehog. Then number 9 on the list is a brand new pop added to this, and that is the Ben Kenobi on Yopi Pop Deluxe. This is a great looking pop, rides. I think it is the best pop out of the set we've gotten so far from the 4 pops we were looking at. The Vader was okay, same with Reva, and then that Obi-Wan, but this Ben Kenobi is pretty sweet, especially because you do see Ben Kenobi riding the Opie throughout the 2 episodes that we've seen that these pops are based off of. So it's really cool that they did that in a Funko Pop form. Then coming in at number 8, being added to this top 10 list now, is the Funko Shop exclusive Samurai Brook from One Piece, more specifically the 1 in 6 metallic chase. I think that as terms to detail, I thought this definitely deserved to be on the top 10 list. There is a ton of hype because people are always hyped for new anime pops. And especially like I mentioned, I do like the metallic effect much better than what I guess the more common version is pulling off as terms to the armor. And it's a little bit low on the list because I don't have much of a personal reaction for One Piece since I haven't seen the show. Then coming at number 7, which was originally number 6 on this list, is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Scarlet Scarab from Moon Knight. And coming in at number 6, and is the last pop to be on this list, is the Dead Strange versus Scarlet Witch pop movie moments from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And this pop is excellent as terms to detail. You get such a bang for your buck as you have 2 figures, and especially the way the base is compared to a lot of movie moments we've had in the past, and a lot of people were hyped. It's a little bit in the middle of the list because there were those people that either weren't talking about this pop specifically or were complaining that Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness has a second wave of pops before we get a second wave of pops for Spider-Man No Way Home. So there was a bit of bad hype that cost this pop from essentially make it higher on this list. So that will be the end of the list. And if you guys want to know what the top 5 portion of my top 10 list was, tune in to last week's podcast to see what the top 5 portion of this top 10 list was, because it is staying the same for essentially this list. So now MD Shady will talk about this list on if it's updated or not.
So for my update, now coming in at number 10 on my list, I have the Bait exclusive Astro Boy. I think this is a pretty cool looking pop. We don't generally see a ton of Astro Boy pops, so this is awesome. And like I said, how you can kind of see his anatomical side of him, what is inside of him on one side of this pop is awesome. And like I said, I do like some other toy companies that do this approach. So doing with the Astro Boy makes a lot of sense considering he is robotic. So that's definitely awesome. And now my new number 9 on this list is the Blacklight Captain Hook, which was originally coming in at number 7. And then moving on to number 8 on my list, I now have it as the Ben Kenobi on the EOP. This is an awesome pop rides, and it kind of gives me a little bit of nostalgia, like I said, with that Hasbro mail-away figure with the EOP with Qui-Gon Jinn. But now we're seeing it with Ben Kenobi, and I'm really excited to see this pop in person, and I think I will probably add it to my collection. Then lastly, now coming in at number 7 on my list, I have the Funko Kellogg's NFT Cornelius for cornflakes. This is awesome. It's a ad icon that I never really thought of because I don't really think of it as quite an ad icon, even though it really is. And I think they did a great job of making a completely flat 2D character into a 3D figure with this Funko Pop. And I definitely need to add this to my ad icon ever-growing collection.
All right, so that's going to be the end of this week's edition of a Funko Popcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you smash that like button. Comment in the comment section below and let us know what your favorite pops were from this selection of Funko Pops discussed today. Press the subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. And if you guys haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at a Funko Popcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's edition of a Funko Popcast, and we hope to see you guys next week on a Funko Popcast. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Hello there. Peace in, peace out.